Give your head a shake. Put some frickin' batteries in your calculator for once and realize how much damage you're doing to Canada. I don't think you do. Hey there. Welcome to the Simple Podcast. I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor. What a week in politics and money and real estate and everything that has something to be done in this world, something we can talk about. I got 4 topics for you this week. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about Doug Ford and He Gets It Done Act. Are you kidding me? This has got to be a joke. The next one, of course, is Chrystia Freeland. Hey, why not increase our borrowing power? Let's throw Canadians further into debt, because it's not like we have enough as it is. Hey, did you hear that the Bank of Canada, the inflationary number actually went down? Well, hey, listen, Tiff Macklin, I don't know if you're listening, but I'm going to throw one out to you. And of course, we can't forget about our fearless leader there in Ottawa. You know, Prime Minister Trudeau once again questioned, hey, are you holding yourself responsible at all for the ArriveCAN Act? I got to tell you, this is a complete joke this week. There's so much to talk about. Let me dig right into Doug Ford, though. Okay, here he is. He turns around and he decides to create an act. Get it done. Well, look at Doug. You're looking a little stunned there, because when we say about things getting done, you know, he did everything but talk about real estate. You know, Doug, if there's one thing you need to focus on right now, and again, it's not canceling things such as, you know, some of our reservation land and everything else, okay, we need to talk about building. And as much as everybody's giving you some kudos, still not seeing the numbers change a whole lot. In fact, they went down last year. So let's talk about green space. Well, you know what? I didn't see anything in the Get It Done Act there. No, right now you're only focusing on things that politically you think are correct. So are you going to get anything done, Doug? Well, probably not, when we need so much more real estate. You know what? Maybe that's something you need to focus on this week, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, if you're still in power. And that may be something you need to start considering. Holy smoke. Chrystia Freeland, she thinks it's okay to increase the limit of borrowing to $517 billion this year. Wow, you know what? She decided what the heck. But you know what I find interesting about her? Is she turns around and says, yes, but the government's going to have accountability. Really? Let's go back to that ArriveCAN app. Did you have accountability? Apparently, Mr. Trudeau says no. Apparently, you say no. Nobody has accountability. Oh, that's right, because it's only pennies, $60 million. So when you talk to us about increasing the ability to put Canadians further in debt by $517 billion, hey, lady, give your head a shake. Put some frickin' batteries in your calculator for once and realize how much damage you're doing to Canada. I don't think you do. You sit there and say, oh no, we're going to be accountable. BS. We know you're not. You've never been accountable. Nobody's holding you accountable. It's about time somebody did. Tiff Macklin, get ready. You know what? It's time for you to actually start looking at reducing the Bank of Canada rate. 2.9% is the inflationary number and where it went. And with Mr. Trudeau kind of in the background, he was mentioning that, hey, Bank of Canada needs to move quicker. No shit, Sherlock. You know what? Trudeau, you got to just stay out of the way. Leave Tiff Macklin alone. Let Tiff listen to the business people that are actually the ones that are controlling the Canadian economy by trying to generate stuff. Tiff, it's time for you to step off the frickin' landing plate and actually do something about the interest rates. Forget about waiting and wait, see. You know what? April, turn around. Let's see a rate reduction. It's about time. I don't care if it's just a quarter point. We need some relief. 2.9%. You know what? Take out the cost of borrowing for housing and the rents and everything else. That number's a heck of a lot lower. Everybody knows it. I got to tell you, every once in a while, you know, we just get thrown up such an easy ball to hit. Of course, we can look at the fearless leader of the country, Mr. Trudeau himself. You know, it's kind of funny how this guy continues to try to navigate away from his own responsibility for things such as the ArriveCAN app. Hey, listen, why not throw another 60 million, down the drain? I mean, looks like the government can't figure out what to spend as fast as they can spend it, where to spend it, who's accountable and everything else. But let's find out what he has to say when he gets questioned.
So how did the government go so wrong with the ArriveCan app contracting and development, and do you take responsibility for those failures?
There continue to be ongoing investigations, both external and otherwise, into the contracting process. It is obvious that the contracting process rules were not followed in this case.
Hang on for a second. Obviously, the rules were not followed. When did he pick up on that? After he got called out on it? After they turned around and said, hey, buddy, you just blew $60 million of taxpayers' money, and now you're going to say, oh, obviously the rules weren't followed. Have you noticed when asked the question, do you hold yourself responsible, still hasn't answered it yet? Let's see if he does.
We need to make sure that there is accountability and transparency around that. But let us remember that during the pandemic, we were reaching out to try and keep people safe, keep people alive, make sure that our economy didn't falter at a time where everything was in question. Even in those most difficult times, we need to make sure the rules were followed. When public servants, in this case, did not follow the rules adequately, there are investigations and there will be consequences.
Okay. Public servants during that time. Let me think. What government was in power at the time? Oh, yeah, that asshat. His government was in power, and he's sitting there saying that public servants are supposed to be accountable, and yet he cannot sit there and own it himself, that he'll throw anybody under the bus except himself, and of course that freeloader Freeland, because after all, they have it all right. You know what? I get sick and tired of being able to talk about this stuff, but it just makes it so easy. And again, one more step towards not being accountable for everything that you've screwed up. Politicians aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Bank of Canada is going to sit on the fence. Where are we as Canadians? Well, you know what? The number one thing you need to do is protect your interests yourself. Forget about everybody else for once, okay? We can't sit there and worry so much about everybody. You need to worry about yourself. Remember, keeping yourself secure, your family, the next generation, some of the things that we all need to focus on, and that is securing your retirement, your investments. Like I said, I've always wrap it up in the big bear hug that is real estate. You should own it, you should control it, and you can benefit from it in the future. Hey, listen, again, I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor. Thanks for tuning in to the Simple Podcast.